Well guys, tons of new information is coming out about the Zelda movie, so I just wanted to take time today to show off some leaked pictures and some stuff that we have about the movie, including what Link could actually look like, and some other teases as well, like we might even see one of the locations in the set that they actually made for it. But before we get started, we are only about 11,000 subscribers away from reaching our goal of 400,000 subs, so you guys can make that happen by just leaving a like and subscribing today, especially if you want to stay up to date on Zelda's 30th anniversary and also the Zelda movie information. We're going to be covering it all year long, probably well into next year as well. So let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from this video alone. Thank you so much, and let's dive in to the new set pieces. So the first thing we get is some concept art for what Link is planned to look like in the movie. Now this is posted by Gyula Patos, the director of photography for the Legend of Zelda movie. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. And what happened is he posted this on Instagram because they apparently had a wrap party where they finished the movie and everything like that, and they've just been talking about how everything's been going and like posted a bunch of pictures, and he posted a picture of this concept art of Link. Now obviously this doesn't seem to be the actor right now that's playing Link. We know Link is being played by the actor Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, and we've already had an image of Link in Zelda already, but it seems like this was concept art maybe even before they found the actor of what they wanted Link to look like, and he looks awesome. I mean seriously, down to every little minute detail. You can see the chain mail underneath his green tunic. He's got just all this garb on. His pants look perfect. His hat, his ears. I mean, it looks like the most perfect live action Link I could have ever thought up. You can even see his Hylian shield on the back, and he's of course holding the Master Sword in his hand. But the only real addition to this Link character is the fact that he has a cape now. However, this isn't anything new. We've already seen some leaked set pieces with him wearing this hood, and it seems like this is just something they want to do to maybe mask his identity for certain scenes, or you know, maybe just cover him up if the sun's too bright in certain areas. I don't think it's anything really massive. He'll probably take it off for most of the movie. We've even seen stuff like this incorporated in Breath of the Wild, and he even has this in his signature artwork in Tears of the Kingdom. So once again, this is nothing new, so people, don't worry, it's not changing the way he looks. In fact, if you think back to one of the first Breath of the Wild reveals we got, do you remember how they showed Link for the first time? He pulled up on Epona, and he obviously just threw off his hood in order to shoot the Guardian with an ancient arrow. So yeah, that was our first reveal of the Breath of the Wild Link. So yeah, it's been a thing, believe it or not. Now, I've already seen a lot of people making comparisons to the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess's version of Link, which, yeah, because that's kind of like the most realistic version of Link that we've ever gotten. If you remember the art style for Twilight Princess, it's this real gritty, realistic approach that they've never really done again. So if you look at it, I mean, that looks pretty spot on to what we got. Throw a cape or a hood on him and boom, you have the same Link from that game. Now, this is interesting too when you take in consideration what Princess Zelda seems to be wearing, because she seems to be dressed in blue. That's matching more of her Breath of the Wild version, because that's one of the only times we've seen her in a blue dress. So yeah, it's a little, you know, contrasting with each other, where Link's got his classic green tunic, but Zelda has her blue dress from Breath of the Wild. So it's like, what's going on here? Maybe they're just combining elements from various different Zelda sources. We knew they were going to do this. I don't think the story is going to be specifically from one game. It might draw from majority of one game, which I think is going to be Ocarina of Time, and I'll tell you why, because we have the picture of the crew in front of this set piece. Now, off first glance, the first thing I could think of is, man, that looks like the Temple of Time. I mean, it's an iconic building for the Legend of Zelda, and obviously a big part of Ocarina of Time, and shoot, even the recent Tears of the Kingdom. And we know that temple holds a very major part of the story, traveling back in time and forward in time from child Link to adult Link. So it does make me wonder, is this just going to be a reference and just a temple in the movie, or is this actually going to be somewhere that Link goes in order to warp through time? Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen, because they would also probably have to have a child actor for the younger version of Link, which they could have. I don't know what's going on here, but I think that would be so cool to have two different Link actors, one playing the child and one playing the adult. I think the whole concept of seeing Hyrule in ruins in the future after Ganondorf had taken over is so unique, and going back in time before he takes over and Hyrule is back together and not in shambles. I think that could be a really cool thing to explore in a movie. Maybe they do it in a future one, but man, I think that whole storyline is awesome, and I would love to see that replayed here, because there's some other things that make it seem like they might still be pulling from this game. For instance, we have this drawing on it seems to be a whiteboard or something, and we have 3 characters. Obviously, the one on the left is undoubtedly Zelda. It's her in her blue dress with her bow. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Now, the person in the middle, I still believe just to be Link. He also has the ears, green shirt. Maybe this is before he actually becomes a hero, and he seems to be holding some sort of stone or gem in his hands. It almost looks like he's holding one of the spiritual stones, and to be more accurate, the green spiritual stone for the Kokiri. If you look real closely, it even has a gold band around it, which looks very similar to that green one. So that would mean they're going to tell the story of Link being a Kokiri, and the only time we know anything about this tribe and about Link being a Kokiri is from Ocarina of Time, and it was the very beginning of the game they explored this idea with the Great Deku Tree, and that being the first dungeon as well. Because we also have this girl on the far right, which does not ring a bell. She seems to be some sort of fairy girl with 2 buns in her hair and holding a blue fairy, which obviously this is probably going to be Navi. Now, Navi is the main fairy guide for Link throughout the entire course of the game. This is the signature "hey listen" fairy that always has something to say no matter where you are. So once again, pulling something from Ocarina of Time. But who is the girl? There's not much we can go off of besides the fact that she seems to be wearing some type of fairy girl or tribal clothes for maybe a civilization or a group of kids, the Kokiri. As stated before, the Kokiri are spirit-dwelling children that just pretty much reside in the forest, and they are ageless. They stay this age forever, and what's interesting is if you look at their garb, they seem to have this all-green outfit with like leaves and stuff, and that's kind of what we're seeing with that concept art or drawing. I mean, she's even wearing green boots. Now, this character does seem to resemble Fado, one of the children, and she's kind of insignificant in the whole story. She's kind of just there as somebody that has a lot of knowledge of the Lost Woods, but that's really about it. Or perhaps she's somebody a bit more interesting, like the Kokiri Saria, who has a very important role in the game, where she is one of the 7 sages. Each sage comes from a specific tribe or group, and they help adult Link take out Ganondorf by bringing a path to his castle in the future. However, I have one last theory. Perhaps this is a movie where they're pulling from different elements across various different Zelda games, and this is instead Link's sister. It would make sense why she's even in this picture with Link and Zelda in the first place. Now, the only time he's had a sister was in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and her name was Aryll. And yeah, she was just a normal little girl that was on Outset Island with him. So unless they're telling a new version of the story, and maybe it's still Aryll, but this time she just so happens to be a forest-dwelling Kokiri with Link, growing up with Link, I think they could still do that. So yeah, for this drawing to have all 3 of these characters beside each other that says love, faith, I would like to assume that they are all very important characters in this movie, so I think Fado or even Saria just wouldn't make too much sense. I think it's going to be Link's younger sister, also considering the fact that they're wearing very similar shades of green and they just look like they're wearing similar outfits. Now, this last thing isn't anything super important, it's just this Legend of Zelda camera department patch where it has kind of a sprite version of Link and also the cameraman, and you can see Hyrule Castle with the Triforce in the background. So not too much to go off of here, you know, just basic little sprite work and stuff with a classic Zelda logo. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, it looks like this movie is really going to be pulling at least a lot from Ocarina of Time, which just makes sense. It's like the Zelda game of all time. All the rumors are also pointing at there being an Ocarina of Time remake, an ambitious one for this holiday. It also makes sense when they release things like a big Lego set for Ocarina of Time with the Deku Tree, and they've also released one for Ganon. It's just like, yeah, this game is all but confirmed with this movie. I feel like it's just going to work perfectly hand in hand. It would just make too much sense right now. So yeah, I think that game is real. I think this movie is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait. I am super, super excited. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about these images so far. Are you excited for this movie? Are you not excited? And let me know down below why. Thank you for tuning in. Leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I hope you all have a blessed day. See you guys.